Welcome back here with Goldberg. Today we have to talk about a very critical issue. I'm sure many of you at some point have heard from the suppository red pillars the phraseology that goes along the lines of, you gotta stay on your purpose. You are the prize. She needs to be looking at your yoga pants, not the other way around. And, as a general principle, it's not entirely invalid when it comes to relationships. If you enthrone someone, especially a woman, she's going to treat you like a subject or a court jester. That's just kind of the normal behavior. Human beings do not tend to respect those who deify or, not reify? Whatever, to make someone, royalty. They don't really respect that when you do it, especially as a man. But at any rate, I can't help but feel a lot of these red pill principles which emerged on the internet late 90s, early 2000s, are being rapidly superseded by a technological behemoth and a cultural shift that these guys, whether they're aware of it or not, they're doing a great disservice to their audiences by not being real, okay? And of course you guys can go, oh, you're exaggerating, it'll never be that widespread, but we have to keep in mind here, we have yet to have a generation in the United States raised entirely with smartphones come to the age of majority. They're getting there. I think maybe 2007, 2008 births, you could really start to get a sense of where the kids are growing up with the iPads, with the smartphones from a very young age. That's how you shut the kid up. You see people on their phones going out for a walk in nature. They're staring at their phone, on their bicycle, in the workplace, even if they're having sex, which most of them are infertile. They're not able to disconnect. They need the social stimuli. They need to be linked up. And that, I think, is desensitizing a lot of young people. So even if they haven't hit the age of 18 yet, they might in fact be engaged in this sort of stuff, which is quite sickening. And you say, what are you talking about? We're going to jump in just a second, a little bit longer, with a story. So I'm talking to this dude a couple days ago. He has a pretty good salary. He's not a killer like Donald Trump, but he's got a solid salary. And what he does is he'll go out to a bar or a nightclub and drop $500-$600 on a chick, buying her drinks, food, alcohol, clothes, with the hopes that he's going to get lucky. Kind of like I heard Jussie Smollett got lucky with Bubba Wallace. I think that's the accurate take, but maybe I'm wrong. Correct me. At any rate, he'll do stuff like if a girl has sex with him, then the next day he'll go and spend $700 on clothes because he's so happy. Which, good for him. That's what he wants to do with his life. But he was raving about this one particular woman. Like that Jimmy Buffett song, One Particular Harbor. Except with this specimen, I think the harbor is really large, and it's difficult to dock your boat effectively, or to make it stay, I guess. At any rate, he says she's gorgeous, which, given his assessment of women before, she might be average or below average, but maybe she is actually gorgeous. I don't know. That's kind of immaterial, as this is concerned. Immaterial like your bank account. But he's talking about how he spent probably another $500-$600 on her, hoping that, things will go the right way. And she's kind of warming up to him, but then she's like, you maybe are too much of a player for me, but if you want this booty, you can have it for $3,000. Yeah, I'm not exaggerating, that's what she was saying. And he was actually considering it. He's that type of guy, right? So, he may not have gone ahead with it, but there were other dudes lined up willing to do that. And you think, this girl, again, my guess is she's average looking. Not just that, but there's also the whole OnlyFans thing, which she's engaged with. And he was saying the guys are sending them money. OnlyFans, for those you don't know, women, or I guess men can do it too. I don't know, is there a whole gay male thing on OnlyFans? I don't frequent those places, but what can you say? And so, on OnlyFans, the women can do the sexual videos, the dancing, whatever, nude stuff. They get paid for it. Well, this chick had a guy who was such a big fan that he actually added her as an authorized user on his credit card. And he has a almost $20,000 limit. He said, you can spend as much as you want. I'll pay the bills. Don't worry about it. Now, we have to stop and consider this in the context of the red pill thinking, right? Because they always said, you're either an alpha male or you're a beta bucks. You're a beta provider. So in other words, if you are not really attractive or physically fit, you're not tall, whatnot. What women are attracted to is that you have resources. So you can still win out, maybe get a pretty girl because she wants to be taken care of, even if she's already got a couple kids later on. Okay, let's take that in a second, okay? What value are these beta providers, these beta books, alpha fooks? What are these beta dudes, the money men, the Clarences, the Poindexters, the nerds? What value do they provide to a woman? What utility do they have if she can totally smoke them in earnings? You have to think about this, okay? If you can make like 8 or 9 grand on the internet, or even go into prostitution, because by the way, blue states are going to decriminalize prostitution. That's coming. They might not legalize, they're going to decriminalize, certainly because the whole debate is that, it's sexist to say that a woman can't be a prostitute. That's a legitimate, empowering thing for her to use her body. That's the argument. So it opens up the possibility. Well, if you've got women who can make this amount of money doing prostitution, which I guess if it's $3 grand for a night, that's going to kind of blow out of the water the whole stupid talking point. If you've got $200, you're not an incel. Maybe it's $3,000 or $4,000. They can totally destroy a man in terms of what value he provides as far as the financial side is concerned. That should be a little bit of an alarm bell, because a lot of these red pill guys will tell you, you gotta, get money. And if you have money, they'll go for you, and then you have some kind of status. But the thing is, they're going to be able to make more money than you if they so choose. And these younger girls are getting sexualized at a young age because of social media. Many of them might say, hey, this makes perfect sense. Why would I work at Victoria's Secret and make like $10 an hour when I can be taking in $100 an hour? Or $500 for one sitting to cuddle with a guy, it'll be $500. You think it's nothing, but you don't understand how technology is affecting people's minds. Folks don't even know how to communicate anymore because of all this technology. They can't speak face to face. It could be a big deal. And so what are the implications of that? I was trying to break it down because you just have so much stuff here that does not exactly align, but you think about it. How guys are going to kind of cope to a certain extent, because if women decide that what was the classic requirement? You have to have 6 figures, be 5'6", and 3 inches, a house, a car, a dog, and 2.5 simps. That's the American dream. That's not enough anymore. What are these guys going to do? And you start to notice it. There is one dude in particular, this very diversity incel cuck, who 2 years ago was trying to attack the traditionalists, attack the guys who are going Google, and then more recently is just begging women desperately in tears to marry him. A lot of these dudes, they're realizing the writing's on the wall, the alimony thing is looming. And I guess they think if they can secure a woman in marriage, that might prevent them from falling by the wayside and essentially becoming some dude who has to pay for sex, which I think a lot of guys are going to be doing in the future if this picks up and becomes mainstream. So I guess the whole thing where at least you're not like one of those Google men, right? You get married, she puts you in the doghouse, so you become a kibble cell or a chewy virgin, but haha, take that incels, I beat you. It's the mentality, and it's kind of disturbing, but I think we're going to see it elevated. Then think of the guys who are trying to date and might have to accept the fact their girlfriend has had an OnlyFans in the past, or may even have one actively. And yeah, you're going to have those liberal dudes, or even some conservative ones too, because conservative men are the biggest cowards and wimps on the face of the planet, who will go along with it because, well, I can't judge, at least she's making some money, so it could be the new romantic dinner date. It would be like, honey, can you hold the camera? I've got one more session with a client. You can try to write it off, say it's extreme, but you have to think about it. The internet has so empowered the average chick. You don't have to be gorgeous, right? You can just do what you're going to do. And so whether it's going to be the girls doing the videos, maybe the guys are going to get into it, with, I don't know if they'll be good enough for women or for other men. Come on. But this is a serious question, and how are we going to live as humans, and what are relationships or even marriages going to look like in 10 or 15 years if this thing continues to advance? So it's worth consideration. It's worth talking about. Just let me know what you think in the comments.